Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going so well. You have no clue how excited I am to be here today.
Fabulous.
Amazing. So after 3 years of US unis, I finally made it abroad to Oxford.
Yes.
So can you tell me about yourself, Cam?
Absolutely. So I'm Cam. I'm originally from Essex, land of Gemma Collins and 𝐋𝐄𝐓'𝐒. I'm a second-year DPhil student here at the University of Oxford, and I like to row. And yeah, that's me.
Okay, nice to meet you. I do want to ask if we can play a quick round of Truth or Dare. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay, Truth or Dare?
Dare.
I dare you to tell me what makes you so unique.
You see, I want to say my personality, but I'd have to say probably the fact that I'm doing my DPhil with Crohn's disease. I think that balance of trying to get my research and managing my health probably makes me quite unique.
That is a really unique thing. Honestly, what's even cooler than attending Oxford is the fact that you are here for your DPhil. So, what exactly is the difference between a PhD and a DPhil degree?
It's just Oxford trying to be extra. PhD is the same thing as DPhil, but for some reason in Oxford we call it a DPhil.
Okay, that makes sense. So since I'm American, I'm just gonna call it a PhD to make it a little easier for myself. So I have another question. Do you know what Oxford is ranked globally?
I think first.
Hate to break it to you.
No.
According to the US News 2022, it is ranked number 5, but that is still amazing. But if you had a time machine, would you choose Oxford again? If you could go back?
Definitely.
Amazing. Okay, so you enjoyed it?
Absolutely.
Yay! So where did you go for undergrad?
Originally I was at Durham, which is up north in England.
Okay, did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it there too.
Great, so you've just had a great academic experience so far.
It's one after another.
Yes, where did you go to get your master's if you got it?
Yeah, that was actually in London, in King's College London. So I've been all over the place.
All over, and you enjoyed your master's as well?
Yes, yeah, loved it.
Yes, 3 for 3. Okay, so why did you plan to get your PhD?
Well, I specialize in oncology, and so for me, the career that I need to go into or want to go into, I need to do a PhD essentially.
Okay, so with oncology, what does your day-to-day look like?
It's actually surprisingly different. I tend to go into lab from about 9 to 5, but often this can be some desk work. I'm working with a lot of immune cells and cancer cells, so typically it's a lot of lab work essentially.
Wow. Elevator pitch time. Can you pitch to me why your research is so interesting to you?
Okay, so I look at a hormone, and we look at low levels and high levels of this hormone in circulation. And actually people that have very, very low levels of this hormone in their blood are almost completely protected against cancer. So we want to figure out why that's the case and study this essentially.
Wow. So if you were to figure out why it is the case, what would be the first thing you would do to celebrate?
Publicize it widely and go get a pint.
Yes. Okay, so you mentioned to me earlier that you are living with a chronic illness. Do you mind sharing more about that?
Sure. So I have Crohn's disease, which is just an autoimmune disease. There is no cure, so it's something that you have to kind of manage quite a lot. And especially with your DPhil, you can get what's called a disabled support plan, especially at Oxford. And this means that you can go to doctor's appointments, you can have flexible working hours. Basically, they meet with you and arrange anything that you need to make sure that your studies can succeed.
Wow, that's amazing. So is that part of the reason why you decided to get your PhD as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, very cool. So what would you tell other people who are living with chronic illnesses?
I would definitely think disclose it with both the college that you're applying to and also your supervisor. These are going to be your main ports of call for support, and just they can only help you if they know about it, and I think that's the best thing.
Great advice, I love it. So what would you say is your motivational song that gets you through school?
No Tears Left to Cry, Ariana Grande.
Can you sing a little bit of it?
Right?
I love it. I was about to sing it with you. What's your favorite thing about Oxford?
Probably the balance of social and study.
What's the Oxford stereotype that holds true?
That there are a lot of conservatives here.
Interesting. So where are we right now on campus?
We're at the Bodleian Library.
Okay, can we see a little bit more of this lovely campus?
Absolutely, let's
go. Let's do it. So, how old is Oxford?
Very old. I think early tens or thousands, I think.
That's absolutely insane. With
Yeah.
the school being so old, are the buildings outdated or the curriculum?
No, I don't think so. They keep the insides pretty fresh.
Okay, good to know. So how does it feel knowing you're getting your PhD at one of the best and oldest universities in the world?
Pretty good. It's
Good.
nice.
What's the difference between a JCR and an MCR?
Yeah, so the JCR is the undergrad student body, and the MCR tends to be the graduate student body. And this tends to be a lot of your social kind of like events that occur, and you belong to one depending on what degree you're doing.
Okay, I see. Thank you for that information. So what is the ranking for Oxford's Oncology Studies program?
I think it's at least within the top 10, but now that you've said that we're 5th, I'm not sure where we're at the moment. But
Fair enough. So what sets Oxford's PhD program apart from other UK unis?
I think probably not just like the financial support, but the resources that they have at the institution are quite like, they're fantastic.
Good to hear. So can you elaborate more on the financial support?
Yeah, so a lot of the degrees, if you get an offer, you get full funding, and this covers, especially in STEM, things like bench fees for about £5,000 or £6,000 a year, in addition to a stipend, which is typically about £16,000 a year. And so this is quite generous in supporting you and doing the studies that you want.
Yeah, that's really good to hear that you have those opportunities. So what was the process for applying to the PhD program?
Sure, so it's 3 letters of recommendation, a CV, and then typically a personal statement, just selling yourself.
Okay. Did you get any work experience prior to applying?
Yes, I did. After my master's degree, I took a gap year, and I actually worked for a year as a research assistant in one of the labs that I was doing my master's in.
Very nice. How many people are in your class?
Oh, I think 26.
Oh, it's very small. Okay. How many years is your program?
3.5, but you have an opportunity to do a 3-month internship as well.
Cool, cool. How are the student-professor relationships different as a PhD student?
I'd say there's a lot more intimate. You spend a lot more time with the professors, so you tend to get to know them a lot better, and I think this is a lot nicer.
Cool. How much are you able to interact with other PhD students?
Oh, all the time.
Yay! Are PhD students less interested in social life compared to undergrad?
I would say definitely not. I think they're just as engaged. It's just the events are slightly different.
Very good to hear. Do you give into the Cambridge-Oxford rivalry even as a PhD student?
Absolutely.
Good to know. Who is your best mate on campus?
My college wife, Claire. So in Oxford, you can propose to your bestie, and you get married, and you tend to have kids after 1 year that you kind of look after into the next year.
Real kids?
Fake kids, but they're your adopted kids.
I love that. So if your school was alcohol, would it be a fine wine, Scotch, beer, or tequila?
You see, Oxford thinks it's a fine wine, but it's tequila.
Ooh, why so?
Because it's surprisingly intense, even though you think it's gonna be, all traditional and but the Oxford students here are wild.
Good to know, okay. What's the best nightclub in Oxford?
Ooh, Bullingdon or Plush?
Ooh, okay. How do you balance your social life and your PhD program?
With difficulty, but I think keeping a good calendar is probably the most important thing you can do.
What's a normal weekend like for an Oxford PhD student?
Typically 9 to 5 on Mondays to Fridays. And then during the weekends and weekdays, societies, I do a lot of rowing, so I tend to do a lot of rowing with that. And then usually there's socials on midweek and in the weekend for the MCR.
What's the typical temperature during the winter?
Oh, it's freezing. It's probably about 10 degrees.
Okay. Are you married or do you have a family yet?
I am not married, but I have a boyfriend.
Okay, what's his name?
Will.
Hey, Will. What's the difference between undergrad and PhD workload? But give your answer in an American accent.
I would say the difference in workload is probably, oh my God, I'm gonna stop that. The difference is probably you have a lot more structure to your kind of work. in undergrad, you kind of do work on weekends, evenings, whereas a PhD, you can kind of be like, you have a core set of working hours, and then you have a lot more kind of free time around that.
Okay, good answer, and I loved the accent. How do you compare your sleep as a PhD student versus an undergrad student?
It varies depending on my lab work. Sometimes I have a lot of late nights, but generally a lot better.
Okay, good to know. How many libraries are on campus?
Oh, lots. I think there's about 30, 40.
Oh, wow. Which one's your favorite?
The Bodleian.
Okay, where is your favorite place to study just in general?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Where's your favorite place to study just in general?
Probably actually, the lab has a nice office space that I like to study at.
Okay, how much do you walk a day?
Not that much, tend to cycle.
Okay, do a lot of students use bikes, skateboards, or scooters?
Absolutely, it's the only way to travel in Oxford.
What do you miss most about undergrad?
Probably my friends.
Good answer. Do you ever feel unsafe walking through campus?
I'm 6'4", so, you know, not so much, but at night sometimes.
How close is the nearest airport?
I think about an hour and 20 minutes away.
Oh, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Okay, fill in the blank. If I'd known blank about my school, I would have never ever chosen it.
Expensive.
Yes. Other countries are a hop, skip, and a jump away. How often do you travel?
As much as I can afford.
Yes. Me and you both. How far away is home for you?
I'm from Essex, so it's about an hour train away, so it's not bad.
Which football club do you support?
My dad supports Arsenal, so I have to be loyal to Arsenal.
Yes. Can you teach me some British slang?
Oh, I'll teach you some Essex. So we've got, all right, babes, is your first one. And then, do you know what I mean? Is probably your second one.
All right, babes. Did you ever want to go to school in the States?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Okay, what's an American stereotype that you know?
That they're involved in a lot of clubs and societies and a lot of extracurriculars with their studies.
Okay. Have you ever seen celebrities on campus?
Yeah, I saw Timothée Chalamet a couple of weeks ago in Oxford.
Okay, how was that?
He's fit, so.
Who's your favorite alum?
Probably Stephen Hawking.
Yes, that's a good one. Who's your favorite professor that you've had?
My current advisor, Val McCauley, love her.
Do you feel like all socioeconomic classes are represented here at Oxford?
Definitely not. A lot of work needs to be done.
Do you think you've met a future millionaire?
Yes, definitely.
Is your school academically competitive, or do you guys help each other out?
I'd say it's probably a lot more helping each other out.
Good. Do you think most kids come here to change the world or to be rich?
I would say probably an 80-20 split. I'd say most people are here to try and change something.
Oh, lovely. If you could change one thing about your school, what would it be?
How inaccessible it can be sometimes.
What's the #1 tip for success?
I want to say time management, but I'm still not doing that properly. So.
Fair enough. Oxford's in Oxford, a city of 150,000 people. How do you like the area?
It's beautiful, especially in the summer.
I know, it's absolutely gorgeous. I can't stop looking around. Is your campus diverse?
No.
Okay. Do you think that there's a way to create more diversity?
There's definitely a lot more that needs to be done for this, yes.
What advice would you tell your younger self?
Probably relax and just get involved in everything you're passionate about, because there's so many opportunities that come from things like that.
Right. What is your goal after you get your PhD?
I think I want to go into industry. I want to make a difference in terms of like the field of cancer. I don't know what that will mean yet.
Yeah. So, big question. Do you think Oxford is the best university in Europe?
Yes.
How about in the world?
Yes.
Should everybody watching this video apply?
Absolutely. There's
why?
no hesitation.
In why?
Academics are strong, you have a great social life. We have things like formals that you get to do like 2 or 3 times a week. There's so many nice traditions. Yeah, I think there's lots of things on offer here at Oxford.
Amazing. That's the end of the interview. Thank you so much.
You've been so lovely. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.